There we go, live on a Thursday evening as thunder rumbles about me. So who knows? Anything could happen tonight. Might lose power. It's not meant to be wild storms here in Melbourne, but there's a rumbling, thundering. Hello, Megaleech, by the way. What does the Bureau... Still like 25 Celsius. This is a very warm day. Oh, shit. Okay. There's like no one here, but big fucking storm. Okay. So we might get thunderbolts and lightning. Very, very frightening. We shall see what happens. Okay, just checking. The webcam's fucking up. At different times, it just won't let me open the controls, which is super fucking annoying. Yeah, if I'm out of focus, Megaleech, I'm out of focus. I can't do a fucking thing. The fucking controls won't open. Tommy Five Tone, hello. And cheers, y'all. I was making this for a video just before the stream. It's called a scofflaw. It's a, what do we call it? Prohibition era drink. Not my favorite, but it's not bad. Sort of between a whiskey sour and a Manhattan, which is an interesting sort of blend of flavors. But basically, it does taste very whiskey-ish. Because I did use two very flavorful whiskeys in there. Overall, that's not bad. Probably only a 7 out of 10. It's not bad. But yeah, I thought when I'm making that specifically for a video, and as I was making it, I thought, I feel like I've had this before and I didn't think it was particularly fantastic. And having just made it again, it's like, yeah, it's not particularly fantastic. But, 7 out of 10. It's definitely not bad. But it's not one I would race to make again. But, it's all part of life's rich tapestry. As it says, making it for a video. Another in the row of my sort of fake rotoscoping animation. Which, kind of looks a bit like rotoscoping, but all I've really done is put it through a filter. And very low-tech trash masking me into a fake background. But, it's got the whole lo-fi aesthetic, which I'm quite okay with. Going to develop it anyway. We shall see. We shall see how it goes as time goes by. And if it did have a bit of a thought today, I might bring my green screen in here. Maybe. Exploration. It's a thing. It's fun. Like 15 years after starting on YouTube, I'm actually doing something new. So it's not completely new. Tommy. It is evolving. I've only uploaded 2 so far. There's the black and white one, which was the first one, and then there was a color one, and pretty sure those are the only 2 I've done. Like Boulevard, yeah. Yes. Yeah, so the first one was black and white. The second one's color, so it looks quite a bit different. And I'm editing some more as we speak. I edited one more today, a relatively short one. It's only like 2.5 minutes long. And I'm almost finished editing one that's about 7 minutes long, which is what this is from. But I'm working with other YouTube people who have cocktail channels to have them record a bit of video as my customer. Yes, Musical Aviator. It was a bit warm today, is still a bit warm. Although it's threatening to storm here now. There's thunder rumbling, and I looked at the radar a couple of minutes ago, and there's a big fuck-off storm front going across Melbourne. And by I mean it's like the length of Greater Melbourne. It's fucking huge. It's not sort of round. It's not camera. It's like a strip, and but so we might get thunder, we might get heavy rain, we might get lightning. I might lose power. If I lose power, we're fucked because the modem, of course, works off mains power. So if power goes out, stream go bye-byes. That could happen. Who knows? Hello, Chris, Invisible Chicken, Dr. Abigail, Robert Man Greg, if I didn't say hello. Abigail, let's see. What's today's theme? Because I always look up, did anything famous have anything notable happen on this day? And the thing that tickled my fancy is it's Saint Mungo's Day. That's a real thing. And he's an important saint too. Saint Mungo is the patron saint of Glasgow. Like he's not a but I've never heard of Saint Mungo. How good is the name Saint Mungo? So that's why I decided to declare today Mungo Day, because I think that's a frigging hilarious name for a saint. Yeah, look, I'm going to show the storm radar again because there's a few more people here. Like, what's that? That's the storm radar at the moment. It's a pretty big storm, and I apologize. Oh no, I think it's fixing itself, but I apologize if focus or anything goes to shit. The webcam is doing a thing it occasionally does, and it won't let me get in the fucking controller for the webcam. It doesn't happen often, but when it happens, there's like fuck all I can do about it. Now I've made it go out of focus. If I do that, will it refocus? Yes, no, maybe. Maybe if I move, it'll focus on me. Can you see me? There we go. Oh, great. Now I'm going to be out of focus for the whole fucking stream because I was fucking around. Fucking around. Great. I'm going to be out of focus for the whole fucking stream now. Fucking stupid webcam. No, I don't think okay. You're going to get a gross thing of my face coming in close now on Megaleech's suggestion. I'll try it. I don't think it'll work. Let's go. So we're in focus. And we go. Stay in focus. And now we're out of focus again. This is not my new webcam, my new laptop. My new delivery of my new laptop has been delayed. It was supposed to arrive last week. Now it might not arrive till next week. Now, at the moment, I refuse to get upset at anyone. It's with Australia Post. I refuse to get upset at anyone for delays in delivery at the moment because everything's gone to shit. But it might be here next week. Yes, Hugh Mungo's. Yes, that was my Hugh Mungo face. I don't know if it's because there's a little thing saying, yeah, you need to restart your device. And I'm like, fuck you, device. Fuck you. I don't know if that's what's fucking with the webcam. It's one of those things. In technology world, there is nothing more frustrating than an intermittent problem. If you have the problem all the time, that tends to be easier to solve. If it only happens sometimes and you can't reliably reproduce it, that fucking sucks. Just giving you nightmares. Come on. Maybe if I do it in phases, it's like, okay. Do that. Do that. Do that. Do that. What was that? Is that AIDSy again? AIDSy's been to AIDSy was saying he couldn't. Oh fuck, that's worse focus than ever. For having a drama. Oh gosh. Okay, yeah. So AIDSy is supporting boss of the house with some dramas at the moment. So he can't be with us tonight because shit's happening. Invisible Chicken got a Liars delivery. Nice. I've noticed the local Woolies has a huge section of Liars and other non-alcoholic spirits. It's quite interesting. They're going mainstream. So, Chris, it's nice Dr. Fauci is being a political star now with Congress infighting, admin being stupid while millions suffer. Yes, no, Saint Mungo is a very old saint. Well over 1,000 years old. And like I said, he's the patron saint of Glasgow. I am getting so fucking angry at this fucking camera at the moment. It's like, see, that hand's in focus, and it's like, if I move it slowly, will it stay in focus? No, yes, no, maybe. I don't know. Can you repeat the question? Now, okay, look, alternatively, I could just unplug the fucker. And because the webcam, the laptop's got a webcam. Huh. So I might do that. Because I don't know if that will work. Oops. Let me see. We change what the camera is. Oh, wait. No, I know why it's doing that. Sorry, just a sec. See? So the laptop webcam is lower res than the extra webcam, which is why I got the extra webcam. Now, is it picking it up again? That worked. Look at that. That worked. I'm a fucking genius. And I won't hold anything close to the fucking camera again. I wonder if that means I can open the controlling software now. It does not. Who the fuck knows what that's about? But there you go. I mean, folks, that was going to drive absolutely stark raving mad being out of focus. So I'm glad we got past that. Yeah, Chris, it's the age-old tech solution. Turn it off and turn it back on again. Oof. All right. I might try it's Thursday night. And it's like, it might as well be party night because this is my last couple of days of not being at work. I go back to work on Monday, which is to say, I sit over there and remote in, because I ain't going in an office anytime soon with fucking 100,000 cases a day. I reckon that's the actual spread of COVID in Sydney and Melbourne. Now, it's worse in Sydney, but I think conservatively, there's probably 100,000 people getting infected a day at the moment, which is fucked. All right. So I don't have to get up in the morning, but I probably will. But I don't have to, so let's get decadent. And, oh, look at that. I must have made my martini lower proof last time. It froze. That's why I always put the freaking Navy strength in. Okay. The best laid plans of mice and men. I need to let that sit for a while because it's frozen. Oh, no, Chris, there's no way airborne COVID dissipates in 10 minutes. There is far more plausible just infection tracing that's happened during COVID that suggests you can contract COVID from a room with poor ventilation that someone was in 2 hours ago. Bum Fungus, hello on Twitch. Happy New Year's and Happy Mungo Day. Yes. It's the Feast of Saint Mungo, and it sounds like I'm making that up, but I'm not. Saint Mungo is real. Well, so, okay, fuck you, Frozen Freezer Martini. I am going to... I've got rum old fashioned in the fridge. I'll finish that off. That'll also give me a bit of fridge space. All right. Get a nice double rocks glass. Double rocks glass. Don't mind if I do. Get a huge block of ice for my huge ice tray. Not just my large ice tray, my huge ice tray. So I like big ice. Right. Und will be the last of the rum old fashioned. Well, and then the only pre-mix thing in there is Swedish punch. I might need to make more bottled cocktails to make life easy. Yes, Pumfucker saying mungo, 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 mungo. Who would appear if you said mungo 3 times? I don't know. Saint Mungo would come and save a birdie. That was one of Saint Mungo's miracles. The whole thing with saints and miracles is the biggest load of horse shit. But anyway, Safa, good evening. Blessed of the rum old fashioned. Right, so I'll have to decide what bottled cocktails to make. I've got my, I don't even want to move the fucking camera. I can just reach it. My faithful barrel still sitting here with my kind of sort of Boulevardier maturing in it. It's been there since Sunday. I'm going to try it at the 2-week mark. You've got to be patient, and that's difficult. I am not a particularly patient person. And to wait weeks, like 2 to 4 weeks for this experiment is driving me crazy. Tommy, buzzed, going to get personal. Disagree on some things, never hate you. Oh, thanks, Tommy. I love you. And again, there is nothing wrong with disappointment. It's disappointment. Oh, there's nothing wrong with disappointment. There's nothing wrong with disagreement. People are different. People have different priorities and lead different lives. You just don't want to be a fucking shithead. Like, although he hasn't been on the stream for a little, like Frankie the Skin, because he's in a hostile time zone, namely London. He is like, a Thatcher-loving Tory, but he's very anti-bigotry, anti-racist, anti-misogynist and whatnot. It's like, okay, well, You think a political system that I don't agree with is the best way to run things. But you're a decent person. Nettie, was Mungo a local deity? Well, let's look him up again. Because okay, not that Wikipedia is the be all and end all, but I'm just going to use the Wikipedia entry on Saint Mungo. Okay, so missionary in the Brittonic kingdom of Strathclyde in the late 6th century, so a very old saint, founder and patron saint of Glasgow, born in 518 AD. Claiming that he lived till 614 AD, which would have made him 95, which is outrageous for that period in history. If there was, like average life expectancy was probably only about 30. To say he lived to 95 is implausible. So in Wales and England, saints known by his birth and baptismal name Kentigern. Oh, here's a fun one. The name probably comes from the British Cuno Tigurnos, composed of the elements of Cwn, a hound, and Tigurno, a lord, prince, or king. Other etymologies have been suggested. Particularly in Scotland, he's known by the pet name Mungo, possibly delivered from Cumbric equivalent of the Welsh. Few knew, my dear one. Mungo pet name as a Gaelic parallel in the form Mocho or Mocha. The pronunciation of these is going to be all wrong. So, Mungo's mother, tenure as a princess, daughter of King Lutin, who ruled the territory around what's now Lothian in Scotland, perhaps the kingdom of Godwin in the Old North. She became pregnant after being raped by Owain Mab Urien, according to the British Library manuscript. However, other historic accounts claim Owain and Tenure had a love affair while he was still married to his wife, and that her father separated the pair after she became pregnant. Her furious father had her thrown from the heights of Taffrain Law. Surviving, she was then abandoned in a coracle, which is a little boat. She drifted across the Firth of Forth. That's hilarious. And Mungo was born there. He's brought up by Saint Cerf, who was ministering to the Picts in the area. It was Cerf who gave him his popular pet name. So no, it doesn't sound like it sounds like he's based on some historical stories. So we're all coming to a shock that people are different. All right. I bring shocking news. What can I say? Abigail, you reckon back then people did live that long? Life expectancy was so low because lots of people died as kids. That's true. Ah, yes. Okay. So you raise a very important differentiation, Abigail. The average, which is brought low by high rates of infant mortality. So what we'd probably want to know was the average death of people who lived past, say, 20. If people lived past 20, how long did they live after that? That would be an interesting figure. Thank you for that insight, Abigail. That is very pertinent. Still, though, 95? 95. It's hard to live to, even for the rich. Yeah, bum fungus. I'm not sure even median counts. Median is the most common age. If I cut, and I possibly am remembering my mathematical terms completely wrongly. Yeah. See, there you go. Bum fungus, median, mode, all these little maths terms. I forget. Median is the middle number. But okay, what would a number I would be interested in would be getting back into the average. If you cut out everyone who died before they were 20, of the population who lived past 20, what average age did they live to? That would be an interesting figure to me. And I have no idea how you'd find that out. Yes, Chris, I'm all for you living to 100. Yes. No, Abigail, I agree with your skeptic sense. You smell a myth. Again, he's a fucking saint. You know, they say he brought a bird back to life. And it's okay. So Saint Mungo has 4 miracles. Restored to life a robin that had been killed by some of his classmates. He'd been left in charge of a fire at St. Cerf's Monastery. He fell asleep and the fire went out. Taking a hazel branch, he restarted the fire. So I assume that means with no flint or tinder, he just went, fire. There's a bell thought to have been brought by Mungo from Rome, said to have been used in services. So why a bell was a miracle? This came from Rome, I don't know. And the fish refers to a story about Queen Lagreth of Strathclyde, who was suspected of infidelity by her husband. The king demanded to see a ring which he claimed she'd given to a lover. In reality, the king had thrown it into the River Clyde. Faced with execution, she appealed for help to Mungo, who ordered a messenger to catch a fish in the river. On opening the fish, the ring was miraculously found inside, which allowed the queen to clear her name. So, yeah, I mean, the stories of saints and miracles are stupid as fuck. Ridiculous. Safa, good on getting boosted, bro. Yeah. Abigail, I'm all for you living forever. Yeah. No, the whole thing with saints and what I remember Dave Allen had a funny routine about saints. For anyone who doesn't know who Dave Allen was, that means you're younger than me. He's an Irish comedian, raconteur. He had various shows on the BBC, which the ABC repeated ad infinitum in the 70s. I saw so much the Dave Allen show, and it was a mixture of him sitting in a chair with a drinky, and I think he used to have a cigar or a cigarette as well, to a live audience, and him just telling stories and jokes, and that interspersed with pre-recorded sketches. And he was talking about how, because the Italians controlled the Catholic Church for, a millennia, and so they were controlling who was named a saint all the time. I think to be a saint, there has to be 3 miracles ascribed to you, which, again, stupid as fuck. But Dave Allen had this routine that I found really funny, where he's being an old Italian priest who was complaining they'd lowered all the standards to make the other countries happy so they could have saints from other countries. And again, that one, yes, it's like, they say he had 3 miracles. Rubbish. He had tops, 1. The other 2 were card tricks. It was just like, the whole thing is so dumb. Shieldsy, hello. 5 days till the big 4-0. So I think that is that Monday? We'll maybe have to have an early party for you on Sunday. Maybe I won't make any more bottled cocktails for a while. I don't know. Wait and see if I'm in Tuesday. Okay. Well, I usually do a live stream on Tuesday. So if you're around on Tuesday, maybe we can sing happy birthday to you. We'll see how that goes. It's really funny, Abigail, when you're saying you suspect a myth with this stuff. There's Wikipedia notes the fish story might be confused with an almost identical one concerning King Melgwyn of Gwynedd and Saint Asaph. Really, they made up the same story for multiple people. And look, the life of Saint Mungo bears similarities with Chrétien de Troyes' French romance, Ifan, the Knight of the Lion. In Chitain's story, Ifan, a version of Owain Mabjorn, courts and marries Lodin, only to leave her for a period to go adventuring. This suggests the works share a common source, a common fucking fictional source, is what we think. But now, the spot where Mungo was theoretically buried, it was so long ago, who knows, stands in a cathedral dedicated to his honour. His shrine was a great centre of Christian pilgrimage until the Scottish Reformation. His remains are said to still rest in the crypt. A spring called Saint Mungo's Well fell eastward from the apse. God, Mungo's 4 religious miracles in Glasgow are represented in the city's coat of arms. That's so fucking embarrassing. The city coat of arms has got fish and a tree. Okay, I'm going to share with you the Glasgow coat of arms. Where we share screen Chrome tab. It always takes me so long to get this right. Okay, so that's the Glasgow coat of arms. Let Glasgow flourish. It's got fish, and one of the fishies have rings in their mouths. It's got a tree, which is the tree. Where's the bird? I assume that's Mungo up the top. I see the fish and the tree. I don't see the bird anywhere. Oh, no, the bird's on top of the tree. What am I talking about? The bird is on top of the tree. So that's the fish, the bird, the tree, and I've forgotten what the fourth one was. Because it's not important. That's why I've forgotten it. The bell that never rang. So that's why it was a miracle. He had a bell, but it never rang. That just sounds stupid. That just sounds stupid. G'day, nobody. Yes. Abigail, Scotland is very conservatively Catholic. Shieldsy, your dad on the mainland got a new car, so you don't have to go in buses when you go over there. Well, that's nice. Shieldsy, maybe I need new glasses. Who knows? So, all right. I was just looking at thinking, yeah, and there's a bell. Looks like a cowbell. That's not what I was expecting. Yeah, you can come in, whoever that is.
Is the door meant to be open?
Well,
Close it?
Let's close it, yeah. Unzo. Yes, I need new glasses. For some reason, I couldn't see the bird, which was very obviously sitting in the tree. And it wasn't Kissing, because I imagine that's a thing Mungo didn't do, because he was a saint. Saints don't fuck, as a rule. Nobody wish Brisbane kept trams. Yeah, I like trams myself. You're a bit blind. You could see it. It is a bit of a worry. It's not like, that I couldn't see it. It's just, I just wasn't looking right. That doesn't make any sense. Let's just go. Whatevs. Yes, Abigail, there's more cowbell. I was a little bit surprised that his bell was a cowbell. Oh no, Tommy, you have the fever. I'm hoping that's not COVID. All right, no, that was a cowbell reference. Yeah, sorry. Nobody's saying Gold Coast brought trams back. Sydney has some sort of light rail, which apparently doesn't work. I don't know. I've not been in Sydney much lately. So I kind of read reports every now and then that their light rail just doesn't work. Ooh, Nettie, I saw you were doing all those looking into how do you get to Queensland. You've actually made a call. You're going to Queensland next week. Nice. Now the borders are open because everyone just goes, oh, you know what? Fuck it. Everyone's got COVID. COVID's fucking everywhere. Nobody visited Sydney. I'm very glad to get the hell out. Yeah, I mean, I lived there for 10 years. I have no desire to live there again. Yes, I know, Abigail. Speaking of KISSING in a tree, am I right? Am I right? Yeah, yeah. Look how frosty my bottle is now. So I can't see into the bottle. I think it's still fucking solid ice in there. Not going to get a freezer martini till the end of the fucking stream. Yes, Tommy, we're all Omicronians. We really are. So if you've been a hermit forever, Nettie's got a devil may care attitude. More power to you. Oh, and Invisible Chicken, you're leaving Queensland for Victoria. There you go. Okay. Nobody being horny on Maine. That's okay. Oh, okay. No, Abigail actually did it first. So I'm not surprised it's humid outside. The storm didn't actually start. A lot of cloud came over. It thundered. The radar said there is definitely rain and storm clouds all around you. Then nothing happened. It may still happen. I don't know if they. It's only been half an hour. Have they updated the map? That's not. God, there's just this thin. I'm not holding the phone up again because I don't want to fuck up the thing again. There's this thin band of quite severe storm that goes almost uninterrupted from Cobar in New South Wales to Tasmania. Like it's not wide, it's long. It's like a finger of storm going all the way down the mid eastern states. Yeah. Oh no, there's a bit of it in Queensland too, but there's a big gap. It's wild. It is saying it's kind of looking like it's going to miss me. It's weird how often these rain patterns miss my area. But anything could happen. Anything could happen in the next hour or two. So, yeah. Oh, good, Safra. I'm glad your sister's feeling better from Omicron. I mean, again, most people get over it without too much trouble, but up to 30% of people get pretty sick, which is not good. Tommy, shit so fucked, you're actually nostalgic over the Bush Jr. era. That's just sad. Yeah, things aren't great. Things aren't great at the moment. On the big list of things I'm not going to do, defend Biden is on there, or on the big list of things I am going to do, defend Biden is not on there, because it's all kind of fucked up. Safa, I think hail is possible. Sorry, what do they actually say? I don't think there's any extreme weather warnings. They're actually saying if it rains, there will be hardly any, 0.4 millimeters. But wait a sec. Weather warnings, marine wind warning, and a brown rot advice on my balls. So not very extreme thing, but it's supposed to friggin' rain tomorrow. It's supposed to really fucking rain tomorrow, with a possible severe thunderstorm. So tomorrow is meant to be rainy as fuck. So is Biden the worst Democratic president? I don't know US politics historically well enough to make a call on that. So Abigail, remember you found a litre of isopropyl alcohol for $30 and 20 litres for $20. Guess who has 20 litres of isopropyl alcohol now? Yeah, okay. Well, now all you need is a use for all that isopropyl alcohol. Mega Leech, I think that's what Safa was getting at. But yeah, even, best and worst is incredibly subjective, of course, and it depends on what you measure and how you measure it and what's important to you. So, but sometimes worst is a reasonably objective thing. You can just look at everything and go, worst. Like you are just an absolute diehard, rusted on, willfully blind LNP hack if you are not looking at Morrison at the moment and go, this guy is the fucking worst. Yeah, and prior to him, fucking Abbott was the worst, but in a different way. So we go, you use the isopropyl for sterilizing stuff when you need to polywash. I think I know what that means, and I'm just not going there. Not going there. Oh yeah, no, Mega Leech, like Trump is a fucking nightmare. But again, American politics is so debased, and not solely, but particularly on the conservative side, the discourse is so debased, and there's no integrity. There's no values. It's just pissing off the people you don't like. So you actually now have a majority of Republicans will say favorable things about Trump, which goes to show how fucking debased that party is. Abigail, pommy wash isn't rude or anything. I thought it was like, washing in the sink, washing your bits in the sink. I remember watching a sort of British talk show that was on. Oh Christ, it's probably ages ago. It's probably 10 or 15 years ago. Baddiel and Skinner, David Baddiel and Frank Skinner. David Baddiel's a Londoner and Frank Skinner's a Northerner. And one of their talks was about, just having a wash of your bits in the sink. And Baddiel, who's a bit more reserved, referred to it as a gentleman's wash. And Skinner goes, is that what you call it? It's like, I grew up calling it a hooer's bath. It's like, oh my God. The difference between the genteel Londoner and the rather earthy Northerner was pretty funny. Tommy, it's very hard to find integrity in politicians. I think there's some variety in the degree of how much integrity they have, but the vast majority of them seem to have been captured and, as you say, bought and paid for by vested interests. There's some variety in the level of integrity among politicians. I think more than half of them are absolute abominations. And then you get some that are like, okay, maybe not as bad, and you get a couple who are kind of okay. Yeah. So, okay, yes, washing stuff under your arms and bits on the fly or in the sink with a face washer. And the isopropyl alcohol really kills the nastiest cause of smells. That's why perfume has alcohol. One reason. Remember that? I think it was a German book. I read the translated version in the 90s. It's called Perfume. It was a bit of a literary hit in the 90s. And it was set in pre-revolution France. And it was just about everyone smelled so bad because they didn't have soap, and a regular washing wasn't a thing because people hadn't really discovered the virtue of hygiene, and everyone smelled really bad. And so the perfume industry was booming among the aristocracy to conceal how fucking bad they smelled. The central character is not really a protagonist. The central character is more an antagonist because he's a killer. He is born and he has no smell at all. Like when he's a baby, he's an orphan, and people notice he's smell and he has no smell. And he grows up being able to identify the minute elements that make up aromas, and he can mix up the perfect perfume from base elements by just sort of going douche, 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 and but he is somewhat off his rocker and is a killer as well. And it's a weird book, Invisible Chicken. You read it for uni. I read it for fun. So there you go. Nobody, you notice your deodorant's worn off. Didn't put enough on. You have hand sanitizer. Use that. Yeah. There you go. Safi, you think Paris smells like piss? You should, although it's closed off at the moment because there's some construction. There was this little lane, and I mean it was only like arm stretched out wide, called Union Lane, which ran off Burke Street Mall, which had a lot of the old street art, but it tended to be very scrawly. And people just piss in it all the time, and it's long, narrow with poor air circulation, and so it just always smells like stale piss. Again, I got a huge laugh one day when I was walking down it, and there was like a primary school excursion group walking along, and the teacher saying like, "Oh, look at the colors, look at," and the kids got about halfway down, and then they were trapped with this awful stale piss smell, and all these kids would go, "Ew, ew." It's just like fucking trapped because they're at the halfway point. You have to keep going, because it's as bad to go back as go forward. And just watching these primary school kids just realize they're trapped with just this absolutely fucking rank stale urine. Christ, it was funny. Tommy, US government set the bar really low. Australian government has more integrity. I personally don't think our ruling government at the moment has any integrity. And I think the opposition, who I support by comparison, I have, yes, it's like, yeah, I think US politics is here. Our current federal political party is like here, and the opposition, who I'd prefer to be in power, are like here. My ideal is like here. But yes, you're cutting your Union Lane, no foot traffic, but I think it's shut down now because of some construction. I haven't looked recently. I didn't even do much of a tour. Like last Monday, I was in the city for a dental appointment, and it's actually getting my gums ravaged somewhat, although they're in good condition, so they didn't get particularly ravaged. Chris, you went and watched some Dave Allen clips. He's just the epitome of an Irish raconteur. He is a great storyteller. And again, the humor and the jokes and the sketches are all 1970s. Some of them still work. In fact, a lot of his monologues still work. The sketches, but a lot of his monologues still work. He is a brilliant storyteller. Greg, yeah, okay, Union Lane's still closed. Yeah, like they knocked down a fucking building in Burke Street Mall. That hasn't happened in such a long time. So someone has gotten real fucking adventurous with a real estate purchase and a development approval. No one's knocked down a building in Burke Street Mall in for fucking ever. So I don't know, in another year or two, there's going to be something really different there. Greg, you got a video of Union Lane prior to being closed. So have I, actually. I think over the years, and particularly in the early years on YouTube, I used to do more videos in the laneways. I think I have a couple videos, and I've certainly taken a lot of photos in Union Lane. Oh yeah, Greg, it was, I guess it was kind of obvious they had plans before COVID to knock it down, but who knows? Safa, why do they keep getting rid of buildings? Because I think partly it's ego, and partly it's like, this is an old building and it's kind of shitty and the design doesn't match modern needs, and I'm going to do it. Safa, it wasn't a heritage building. It was just, it was just a commercial building in Burke Street Mall. But it's such It's such a big hassle, and it's such a huge expense to do demolishing and rebuilding in a place like Burke Street Mall. No one's done it in fucking ages. So it's not like it was a heritage building that got knocked down. It's just a shitty building. But yeah, I don't know if Union Lane's even going to exist when they finish. Yeah, Chris, and stop knocking down buildings and reuse them. But well, capitalism, it is. It's capitalism. It's partly just keeping capitalism going. And I'm not joking. When I said ego, a huge chunk of new buildings and architecture is ego. It's the ego of the developers and the architects and whatnot. They want to make their mark. They want to be remembered. That's my building. It'll be there for hundreds of years. I want there is why buildings keep getting knocked down and new ones built. Ego is an enormous part of it. Safa, yes, those scumbags who illegally demolished the pub a couple of years ago. I think they actually paid for that, which is nice, because Sydney in particular is notorious for developers getting away with all sorts of shit about illegal knocking down of buildings. But yeah, I'd had a drink in that pub. It had a stained glass window dedicated to the Kennedys, as in John F. Kennedy. But yeah. Invisible Chicken, where you are, the redevelopments to try and increase density. Yeah, that happens kind of around here too. The closer you are to the train station, the more likely they are to knock down a house and put an apartment block. Where I am, they tend to knock down a house and build like 2 townhouses. But yeah. Yes, Safa, I think the most recent court order was they actually had to rebuild the pub. I seem to remember reading. All right, is my martini fucking thawed out? I think it has. So I'm almost finished my water, so I might have a martini after this. I was very shocked to see my martini actually froze. So I'm going to have one, and then I'm going to top it up with some Navy strength gin. That'll stop it from fucking freezing. It's like I tried to have a freezer daiquiri at one point, but that's comparatively low alcohol and it would actually freeze. So, Chris, you're increasing density even more places. You can sit empty as homelessness gets worse. Yeah, we have the same thing. I mean, I think one of the worst examples of it is London, actually. Rich people have brought up a bunch of property in London as a tax dodge and no one lives in it. It's ridiculous. Nobody. We should round up all the property developers, drown them, 2 birds, 1 stone, reduce population, reduce. I'm not a fan of property developers. They tend to be absolute fucking assholes. So yeah. Oh, Chris, why knock down homes that you have capitalism? As you say, it's just all about people abusing a system to artificially constrain resources for their own personal enrichment. It's a broken and fucked system. It's funny, we were talking about, I had a brief conversation about revolutionary France earlier. I mean, history tells us what's going to fucking happen to these oligarchs if they don't stop with their bullshit. Because it's happened every time in history when wealth disparity got this bad and abuse of the system from the ruling class got this bad. Basically, violence. Terrible, terrible violence. And the vast majority of the wealthy who are hoarding resources are in denial about this. Not all of them. Some of them know. Oh, geez, we better fucking alleviate a few things or the mob will literally come for us with pitchforks and torches. So it's a funny old world. So you mean the commie apartment blocks in Russia? I love the phrase that was described for the Eastern Bloc architecture, brutalist architecture. Just huge fucking concrete blocks, buildings. Yeah, nobody. History tells us it's unavoidable when at various times, they're called the aristocracy, the ruling class, royalty, and oligarchy. When wealth disparity gets too severe and the ruling class rub it in the face of the underclass, violence ensues. Violent retribution happens, which is not great. It's not great, but it's what happens. Yeah, no, but Scotty from marketing is not capable of listening. Anyway, martini time. That's pleasant. I definitely took that bitter edge off it that I wasn't happy about before. But yeah, I think I will top that up with some Navy strength, which will give it a bit more kick. A little bit of vermouth and yeah. Oh yes, Chris, all the ugly gulag-ass glass. Most of them hardly any glass. They're just all fucking concrete. Although, as I said, I love the name. The fact that it got called brutalist architecture, like, yep, that fucking sums it up. Just those massive concrete monoliths, ugly as fuck, and they seem super fucking depressing from the outside. Don't want to like on the inside, but they look super fucking depressing from the outside. Oh yeah, no, nobody. None of us are making personal threats when we start talking guillotines. We're just talking about historical inevitabilities. Safa, look, we all hope that Scummo gets fucked at the next election. Heine, does the environment make this time? I don't know what you mean about this time. Do you mean the next revolution? We emit too much CO2? We emit far too much CO2. Look, if we abandoned the broken parts of capitalism that the capitalist class just obsessively prop up, like the fact that tens of thousands of empty planes fly around to keep their flight happening. It's basically, if we stopped the ridiculous, pointless excesses of capitalism, we could cut half the global emissions in a fucking year. But the people doing that brain dead fucking shit are obsessed with maintaining the structure, and they won't do it. Chris, you miss nice houses on the east side of Portland. Yeah. Oh, that's an interesting one, Saf. Some of them look good inside because even though it's an ugly, shitty building, they're rich and they make them nice on the inside. Okay. Oh, nobody. If the LNP win the next election, I'm just going to fucking give up. I'm going to fucking check out, man. Because objectively, Morrison's fucked everything so badly and so needlessly. If people aren't awake to it, then Jesus, we're done. We're cooked. Yeah, Chris, the oligarchy in Russia are very much a kleptocracy with a tiny number of people hoarding wealth, leaving people in poverty. You think Russia number one, US number two? You may well be right. I think you're forgetting about, although it's a comparatively much smaller population, some of the Middle Eastern countries, the oil-rich countries, I think are worse. Because it's literally a tiny handful of people own almost every. What am I saying? That's what it's like in Russia and America too. But anyway, ridiculous. Oh, I understand that, Safi. Your mum grew up under socialism and with no personal possessions and stuff, so she's completely unsentimental. I get that. So, Tommy, you reckon one thing that could help us if people would stop fighting each other, realize who the real enemy is? Yeah, that's a complex issue. And where it's complicated for me is the number of people who argue in bad faith. And again, when I look around and see the loudest, most obnoxious voices are people who call themselves conservative, but they completely abandon any traditional conservative values. They're just horrifically self-centered and obnoxious. Their entire ethos is hurt people I don't like. Rules don't apply to me. Fuck everyone else, which is just ridiculous. And the arguments are just so universally made in bad faith. There's a lot of people who call themselves progressive or on the left. And by the way, I do not count the US Democratic Party or the Australian Labor Party among them. They are at best centrists, and I don't have a lot of time for centrists. But there are a lot of people who claim to be progressive or even left who are pretty much as bad. They argue in bad faith. That's why even when I get super angry, if I fucking rip on someone, the one thing I try to adhere to, and I probably fail, I honestly probably fail from time to time, but the one thing I try to adhere to is to not argue in bad faith. In other words, to mean what I say, to stand behind what I say, to try and have some integrity, because it's pointless trying to interact with these right-wing blowhards you see in politics, media, and have to deal with on the internet, because they just argue in bad faith. You can completely sort of destroy their argument, and they will, without blinking, just shift to something else. They won't address the fact that they started off saying, this is the most important thing, and you completely demolish their position, and they've just ignored that and flipped to something. So it's pointless engaging. So fuck them. Suffer. Lenin was probably a bad guy. I should read more history, because I honestly don't know a lot about Lenin and his motivations. I mean, in retrospect, we can very easily go, wow, Stalin, what a fucking piece of shit. Look what he did. I don't know enough about Vladimir Ilyich to have a good handle on what his true motivations were. When someone seizes complete power, my immediate assumption is bad guy. Bad guy, no matter what rhetoric they spout. When someone seizes complete totalitarian power, my initial thought is, ooh, bad guy, bad guy. But again, specifically Lenin, I don't know enough about him and his history to say if he's bad through and through. I mean, yeah, you can look at like Mao and Stalin and go, well, fuck those guys. Honestly, Jesus Christ, look how many millions of deaths they caused either deliberately or through incompetence. It's just fucking shit. Yeah, specifically Lenin, I don't know that much about. I should read way more. I think I might do that. I might start reading more history, or at least listening to more history on Audible, because I've got some credits on Audible. I have some fiction lined up, but okay, I'm going to look up some good non-fiction books. If anyone wants to point me to some good non-fiction on like the Russian Revolution and Soviet Russia, World War II, I'd like a really good history of World War II as well, actually. Okay, that's, what are we? January 13th. This year, I'm going to try and take in a bit more nonfiction. We'll see how that goes. Chris, Lenin was a power-hungry maniac. Well, yeah, I reckon, probably. Visible Chicken. It's interesting watching certain reaction videos. Epic rap battles of history, because they know history, break down the bars, how they write history. Yeah, that's true. Okay. Yeah, Chris would be key. If you find what seem to be good, objective books, I get them. Invisible Chicken, I think I've seen bits of World at War. And obviously, when I say non-fiction, histories are very subjective. And so while I'm asking people if you know any good histories to recommend them, any that I get recommended, I'm then going to do a little bit of research, particularly here's what I try to do when I'm looking at someone's interpretation of history. I'm going, okay, so they do that and they make it sound academic and objective. And I go, what else have they published? Can I determine what their political agenda is from what else they have published? And then, okay, who says they're good? What else do those people say is good? Who says they're bad? What else do those people say is bad? And then I think you can start to get a thing like, okay, their detractors fall into this camp, their supporters fall into this camp. Is there consistency? Is there integrity? Yeah, give it a read. Yes, Dr. Abigail, horrible histories, surprisingly accurate. Very good educational stuff for kids. And Invisible Chicken World at War is a documentary series with people interviewed from various sides. Yeah. Yeah, it's good. Like I've got some Audible credits. I want to get some good quality historical texts. And I do believe, even if I disagree with the politics of some of them, I may still get something out. And I have seen that before. We're reading something and the person's politics are incredibly obvious. So when they say stuff, I've found myself able to go, okay, you make a case for that, but I know what your politics are because they're really obvious. And I can pretty much tell what you're deliberately leaving out because it would conflict with your worldview. So histories, and actually even fiction from people whose politics I disagree with, can still be really useful. Because I've read some sci-fi written by real fucking hard right-wing dudes, and it's like, okay, I'm kind of enjoying your writing in here, and I see what you're trying to assert there, but you're doing it in a really dumb way. I'm not really going to fall for it. But if you want some free ebooks, the Baen Library, Baen, is basically they publish conservative sci-fi, and a lot of it incredibly militaristic, but a lot of it's great reading. A lot of it is great reading. There's variable quality in there, but it's very interesting when you get into sci-fi, speculative fiction, alternate histories, and whatnot that are done from a very militaristic right-wing point of view. It's like, oh, okay, I'm kind of enjoying your writing, but your politics are also kind of obvious as well. One of my favorite bits, okay, there's this series where, because of a weird anomaly, a town in West Virginia, a mining town in West Virginia, gets transferred into the 1600s. And it's like in the middle of the 100 Years' War, and they get dropped in Europe, and they form alliances and whatnot. And there's a humorous bit where they end up in England, and some people, because they have a school that had a pretty good library, and some of the people from this time zone, when they start interacting, read the history books. So they read the stuff that's going to happen. And so they change what they do to avoid certain things. And the people in England, the King of England, finds out that Oliver Cromwell, who at this point is incredibly loyal, eventually leads a revolution which kills the King of England. So the King of England preemptively puts Oliver Cromwell in prison. And Oliver Cromwell's going, fucking what? What did I do? And here's a funny thing. Hillbillies, and I don't use that term disparagingly, people in places like West Virginia who are descended from Scots and Irish immigrants, essentially refugees from the English. And so they've been indoctrinated with stories about how fucked the English are, and particularly Oliver Cromwell, who ravaged Ireland. Oliver Cromwell was a fucking monster. And some of these rednecks end up in England in the Tower of London, and they are, at the leisure of the king. Pleasure of the king. They're not. You keep saying they're not prisoners, but they can't leave. And Cromwell is a prisoner. Cromwell's locked in a cell, and some of these rednecks are given the thing of looking after Cromwell, and they're trying to teach people about disease and whatnot. So they're fumigating the cells so the fleas won't give people plague in the cells. And one guy is really rough when he sprays the poison in Cromwell's cell, basically sprays it in Cromwell's face, because he'd always been brought up with these stories what a monster Cromwell was because of his family's Irish heritage. And his history teacher saying, like, why, stop being such a psycho to Cromwell. And he goes, but I was always told, Cromwell was a monster. He goes, okay, what Cromwell did to the Irish. You realize from Cromwell's perspective at that time, the Irish were primitive brutes and savages, which is the same as the white settlers in the United States to the indigenous peoples of the United States. And the teachers were like, oh, are you about to apologize for what your ancestors did to the Native Americans? And they're like, no. And it's like, oh my God, there were two possible lessons here. One was, okay, you're sure what Cromwell did to the Irish was terrible. What Cromwell did to the Irish is exactly what white settlers did to Native Americans. You should feel equally bad about that. But the author actually goes the complete opposite way and says, you shouldn't be mad at Cromwell because what Cromwell did to the Irish is just the same as what we did to Native Americans. And you don't feel bad about that. So don't feel bad about Cromwell. And I was like, oh my God, okay. Yeah, that's one way to go. That is absolutely one way to go. Okay, Abigail, okay. I haven't looked at it for years. I read a bunch of books. Baen Free Library, which is BAEN.com. I have not looked at it for years, but I read a bunch of books. Okay. It's Eric Flint's 1632. And there's a shit ton of these books. There's like a dozen or 20 of these books tracking these people. But they're a good read. Like I said, the politics are incredibly conservative. But things. Nobody, you're going to Discord for quality FaceTime with Eddie. Nice. You're going to watch Kingdom Hospital. So yes, if you want a very interesting, and I found it really interesting and pretty well written. And there's like 10 or 20 of these fucking books. They start in 1632, and it's written by Eric Flint. Some of the later ones are written by other people, but also just the Baen Free Library, BAEN.com. It's a bunch of free ebooks of politically conservative speculative fiction writers. Safa, are the English the most ruthless country in the world? I don't know. Europe was full of psychopathically bad colonizers. At various points, the Roman Empire was ruthless. The French were terrible. The Dutch were terrible. On a smaller scale, the Belgians were terrible. The British just possibly did it on a bigger scale than anyone. Like the Spanish were terrible. Europe just seems to fucking breed absolutely horrific colonizers. Like the Belgians in the Congo is nightmare material. Like it's so bad. It is so fucking bad. I have huge gaps in my knowledge of history, but the vibe is England just did it on a bigger scale to everyone else. And yes, England's colonizing of the world is responsible for bare minimum tens of millions of deaths. It's very bad, very bad. A lot of them were just in India. Millions of them were in India over a period of centuries. They killed millions of people in India through a combination of war and famine. And by famine, I mean avoidable famine. I mean uh, British policy caused the famines to happen. The British policy caused avoidable famines to happen. Same as fucking Mao in China and Stalin in Russia. And yeah, Safa, the Soviet Russia in not just Siberia, all through Eastern Europe. So, yeah, that's like, I think we can just agree all colonizers are bad because they all do some fucked up shit. Right. I am going to top up my martini with some high octane gin and put it back in the freezer. I think if I put high octane gin in, it won't freeze next time. I was quite surprised. It hasn't frozen many times, actually. Anyway, got to get my Navy strength gin. Where's my Navy strength gin? This one's pretty good. 23rd Street. I think I should make something with my fucking... I've got these barrel-aged gins, which are really good. I should make something with them. All right. Ooh, I'm going to finish this bottle. Yeah, it's pointless putting that back on the shelf. Yeah, it was only 4 ounces. All right, 23rd Street Navy Strength gone. That's okay. I have. Oh, it's a nice cork. I'll keep the cork. Put the bottle in recycling. Put a bit of vermouth in. I'm going to use this vermouth. Castagna Bianco Vermouth. 2016 vintage. Nice. I am a classy motherfucker. Abigail, do you think the content match is that sensitive? It'll get me doing the Dream of Genie soundtrack. Product of Australia. An aperitif conjured from more than 30 biodynamically grown botanicals, blended with the spirit of Beechworth. Nice. Ooh, it's a neat little stopper. Oh my God, I had this misadventure, I think it's fair to call it. There we go. That's pretty good. I thought I make my own pomegranate syrup, aka grenadine, because it's easy. It's just like 50% pomegranate juice, 50% sugar. And I had it for ages. Thought there's a little bit left. I should just chuck it and make some more. And I had this pomegranate juice in the fridge. It had been there, I think, for a year. And I looked at it, and although the use by date was in the future, it actually said use within 7 days of opening. And I'm like, I think I opened this a year ago. Is it still okay? Because it says 7 days. And I took the lid off it, and it popped, and it effervesced. And I'm like, okay, pomegranate juice is not meant to be effervescent. And I smelled it. I was like, no, it is actually bubbling. It has been fermenting, which is probably not good. And I poured a little bit of it in a glass and looked at it and went, And I actually took a sip, and it was bubbly, like it was fermenting. And I was like, okay, tip it down the sink. Okay, guys. Okay. On the plus side, I may have pomegranate beer here. On the downside, almost definitely like food poisoning, which if I drank any more than a sip of this, it's going to end up in vomiting and diarrhea. So I tipped it down the sink. Then I got some more pomegranate juice and I made some fresh grenadine. But yeah, I feel like it's fair to say it was a bit of a misadventure that I had fermenting pomegranate juice in my fridge. Abigail, you've had bottles of OJ become bubbly. Yeah, no, it's just like I seriously like it was like a screw top and it went pop and I went ooh, and it was like bubbling. It was hissing. I was going, that's not good. And it was like I had a little sip and it was like bubbling on my tongue. And I'm going, oh yeah, it's effervescent. I think that's bad. I think that's actually bad. So I tipped it down the sink. Now I have some more pomegranate juice, which I won't use. But I was going to make a small batch of grenadine because I don't use it that much. But then I went, wait, no, I should make a large batch because with all that sugar, that'll preserve it for a fucking year. And the pomegranate juice will go off. But the grenadine, because of the massive amount of sugar in it, will be preserved. So that's what I did. Anyway, so this is another Australian vermouth I have. Blanco vermouth. Right, so I'm going to put that back in El Frigo. There's a raspberry sauce young Mr. Angry made for a cake. I think it was like a month or two ago. I think I should throw that out. Would also free up some fridge space if I did that. Anyway, I will try freezer martini again tomorrow. Okay, I think I need a bit more water. Do it with this one. Again, when I do that Dream of Jeannie, I'm not thinking of a Dream of Jeannie. I'm thinking of Homer Simpson thinking on sexy thoughts and imagining Barney Gumble in a bikini humming the Dream of Jeannie theme. Just so you know. That's the way my brain works, or fails to, as the case may be. All right, speaking of things, there's a tiny bit of tequila in here. Maybe I should make a tequila drink just to get rid of that so I can put that in recycling. I feel like I've been emptying a lot of bottles recently, but then I looked at a picture and I thought, am I drinking more? Because I don't think I am. It's just that the bottles eventually get emptied. Like most of my spirits last, 6 to 12 months, and the fucking liqueurs last like 2 years or more. And I was reassured recently when I saw a picture in my Facebook memories, which was 2 years old, and I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, I've still got some of those bottles. Okay, no, I'm not drinking too much. Abigail's stupid, sexy Flanders. Now, Tommy also sees Barney dancing in your head. There you go. We did it. The whole thing, yeah, Safa, imagining the Barney Gumble thing is punishing me in a horny jail. So that is a psychic bonk on the head for being in horny jail. All right. I decided, I think I might, just for fun, make another drink after I drink this water. I just have, oh my God, what happened to my fucking browser? Okay. I have a fucking cable now. I should have plugged a cable in. Cocktail of the day. How's my fucking bandwidth? I should have plugged in a cable because I have a fucking cable now. Anyway, when my new laptop arrives, probably next week, I'm definitely going to do an experimental play Red Dead Redemption on a stream because I think people would find it funny the degree to which I fuck around and get frustrated with Red Dead Redemption 2, of course. Okay, I'll log in. Yep, do that. I've saved some cocktail recipes on this site. What's one I've been meaning to try that's on here? Cancinchera, which is just rum, lime juice, and I don't have a honey syrup. I have to make a new honey syrup, actually. that gin cocktail, Geneva, orange curacao, sugar syrup, and bitters. Might make that. A black rose, bourbon, cognac, grenadine, Angostura, Peychaud's. I've got to make Viagra Falls at some point because it's just a funny name for a cocktail. And it's got a lot. Oh, it's got sour apple liqueur. I don't have any sour apple liqueur anymore. I made some before, which was very good. I need to make some more. Blue cocktails. Cocktails are good. There's a Darlington, which is gin, Calvados, blue curacao, dry vermouth. What have I saved on this particular one? Things that caught my eye. The Haiti one. Fettuccine, quinine liqueur, vermouth, and navy rum. It's a very interesting mix. Don't know what I'm going to make. But yes, we're all stuck with Barney in a bikini dancing in our heads at the moment. That was the episode where Homer got kind of obsessed with his co-worker Mindy, who for some inexplicable reason was obsessed with him too. I think she was voiced by Michelle Pfeiffer. I'm almost sure. The love interest that potentially led Homer astray, Mindy, was voiced by Michelle Pfeiffer. Who's the other one who wanted to lead Homer astray? The country and western singer Lurleen Lumpkin. Invisible Chicken, you have aphantasia, can't picture stuff in your head. That's okay. We humans are a mysterious and complex lot. Right, I'm going to look up because I can't remember who voiced Lurleen Lumpkin in The Simpsons. She's been voiced by different people. Beverly D'Angelo and Doris Grau. Fuck off. Beverly D'Angelo. Okay. Okay, because I kind of thought it was like Dolly Parton or someone. Yes, Tommy, that's it. Oh, Margie, you came and you found me a turkey. That was a very funny episode. In fact, the various episodes with Lurleen, I think, are very funny. Because Homer is absolutely fucking oblivious to the fact Lurleen is hitting on him. And Marge is not oblivious to it. She's real fucking angry. I appreciate how nice water tastes when you really need to drink some water. That's Invisible Chicken on a vacation away from worky. So Invisible Chicken has aphantasia, can't picture stuff in your head. Abigail, you say have hyperphantasia. You picture everything in your head. Have a very vivid mind's eye. When you found out that aphantasia was a thing, you lost your shit. Don't understand. Do you think I am capable of imagining stuff in a lot of detail and having a very emotional response to something I am just imagining, to something that isn't happening, that hasn't happened, that in all probability will not happen. So I think I'm with you, Abigail. I think if it were such a thing, I think I have hyperphantasia because I am both capable of imagining quite far-fetched scenarios. I do it on a regular basis, and I have emotional reactions to things that I have invented. So yeah. That's interesting, Invisible Chicken. You're an avid reader, but you have aphantasia, so you can't picture stuff. That is very interesting. Yes. Because again, for folk with hyperphantasia, if that's a real thing, reading is wild because it just puts images into your head. Ah. Oh, yep, no, that water tastes great. Okay, so I'm definitely going to make myself another drink. Oh, I just looked up a website called Punch Drink. The infinity bottle needs to chill. Once a niche whiskey nerd pastime, the home blend has become a commercial industry unto itself. Certainly, I'm a bit into it. So, what are they saying here? Online whiskey club Flavier released a hand-blown premium glass decanter for $350. That seems, and this is an American website, so that seems a lot. Featured a zinc alloy logo atop the stopper with a lemniscate design center symbolizing eternity. It was an infinity bottle by Flavier, ultimate intro to the infinity bottle movement by whiskey geeks. That is like, get fucked. So in January 2017, this writer first reported for Punch, putting leftover whiskey into a bottle to have an evolving blend called an infinity bottle. Yeah, I agree. Infinity bottles shouldn't be commercial. It's just a thing you do at home. I don't have any. Actually, no, my freezer martini. That's an infinity martini. So my freezer martini is an infinity martini. I had an infinity whiskey bottle for a while, and then I turned that into an old fashioned, and I have drunk it all. And I had a bottled rum old fashioned, which I finished tonight. I don't have teeny bits in bottles. I don't have stuff that I want to use up like that. I made a point. I had a couple bottles that were almost running out, and I made a point of making a bunch of drinks with them. So I used them up, and they weren't there anymore. So basically, all my important bottles, whiskey and rum and gin bottles, are like half full at the moment, half or more full. Oh shit! What did I just fucking do? Oh shit! No, I thought I fucked something up there. Jesus. Abigail, you can visualize complex computer code in your head in diagram form. Super autistic trait. Rendezvous with Rama blew your teenage mind. Yeah, I get it. Heine, you think you're on the hyper end? You loved Rendezvous with Rama? There you go. So, Abigail, when you travel, see sites, very little difference than what I've experienced on the net. And there. Okay, here's me with travel. People talk about getting homesick when they travel, or the opposite, just being totally in love with the place where they travel. What I have found when I travel, and I haven't traveled much for quite a while. I've basically, last 5 or 10 years, I've only traveled around regional Victoria. But I have traveled overseas and I have traveled interstate. What I find when I travel is wherever I am, that's just where I am. I just feel like, oh, this is where I am. I don't feel like it's mind-blowing and new and different, although I love seeing new things and exploring and whatnot. And I don't get homesick. Like, I've been away from home for over a month, and I don't get homesick. It's just wherever I am, this is where I am. And then when I get home, that's where I am. So it's like, I like to travel, but I don't feel this pang like, oh, I wish I was back in San Francisco or whatever. I don't feel that. It's like, oh, when I was in San Francisco, I was in San Francisco. That's where I am. Now I'm back in Melbourne. This is where I am. And I know not everyone feels that way, but I've never felt homesick, and I've never felt overwhelmed by a new place. I've literally just felt wherever I am, I'm just going, oh, this is where I am now. I'm exploring where I am. I'm looking at things. I'm discovering things. This is just where I am. And when I go somewhere else, it's like, this is where I am now. And I know not everyone sees the world that way, because people always tell me about being overwhelmed by new places, about being homesick because they've been away for a while. That's just not how I experience things. And yes, Abigail, that's absolutely super autistic, as are most of us. So there. Invisible Chicken, you don't get homesick either, which is why you think you'll be okay with moving for the first time. I think you'll be fine. I think you'll be fine, Invisible Chicken. Tommy, when you hear autistic, you think of 21 Jump Street, but they're saying artistic. We are Tommy, we are the divergent bunch here. It's just what we are. Just the regulars on the stream are neuro and sexually divergent, basically. And technically, I'm not, but I always go like hashtag relatable to everything everyone says. So it's like, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, my experience of traveling is, I know for a fact, it's different to a lot of people, because other people tell me completely different things. They talk about being blown away by new places. They talk about being homesick if they're away from home. I've never been homesick. I've never been overwhelmed by new places. I love new places. I love exploring, particularly I love walking places. If I'm somewhere where I can walk, I fucking love that. It's just the only way I can explain it is what I have always felt is wherever I am, that's where I am. I'm not thinking of other places. I'm not thinking of why this place is different to other places. I'm just thinking of, this is the place where I am, and this is what I'm experiencing now. And then when I go somewhere else, I'm in a new place, and that's the place I'm experiencing now. And I know not everyone views the world that way, but we're all individuals. I'm not. And not everyone is as obsessed as doing like movie and pop culture quotes as I am, but a lot of people are. A lot of people are. So I don't feel so bad about that. Safa, I think, yeah, big part is living in the present. God knows what a psychoanalyst would say about the way I experience things, but I don't know if that's even a good explanation, but that's the only way I can explain it. Wherever I am, that's where I am. Because from conversations I've had with people, I know some people, when they're in a new place, they're like, oh, I'm overwhelmed. It's a new place. It's all this thing. I don't feel overwhelmed. Just like, well, this is just where I am now. And some people, when they're somewhere that's not their home, at a certain point, they get homesick. I've never got homesick. Again, I've not traveled more. But again, like, okay, I grew up in Dubbo. I lived in Dubbo for 18 years. Then I lived in Bathurst for 4 years. Then I lived in Sydney for 10 years. Now I've been in Melbourne for 20 years. And it's like, well, I never feel like I want to go to Sydney. I want to go to Bathurst. I want to go to Dubbo. It's just, no, I'm a Melbourne person now. Abigail, you've never really had the travel bug some people have. You get homesick merely going to a friend's place. That's fair. See, the classic. People experience shit differently. And Tommy, if you're off somewhere, you finally get home, you have a few moments where you miss it, think about what happened, but never get homesick. That's the thing. We're all different. We experience things differently. And now I want to talk about a big metaphysical thing about the nature of truth. And I've read a bunch of articles. I don't think I've read full-on books about it. I've read articles and watched YouTube videos on the nature of reality and is there an objective reality? And there was what's fun is I've seen both articles and YouTube videos, various scientists talking about, is there an objective reality and whatnot. And they talk about this, and it's people are into the hard sciences and people are into the soft sciences. And Richard Dawkins gets quoted, and Richard Dawkins always sounds like a fuckhead. Because he's like, no, there's certainly an objective reality. Richard Dawkins hates things like sociology and whatnot, and he invariably, in my mind, makes himself look like a complete fucking dick. Because it's like, my favorite thing, and I read this recently, is there is probably an objective reality, and you can devise like the rules of physics, etc., where you can predict what will happen in particular ways. So you can build engines, you can use technology and whatnot, because you're going like, these principles, according to all evidence we have, these principles will hold true. So we can devise things that will work in a particular way, because the evidence we have is this remains true. But us as humans, what we perceive is completely subjective. And Dawkins appears to hate the concept of a subjective interpretation of reality. To me, Dawkins seems very rigid. And so people who are rigid fail, in my opinion. And Dawkins gets so upset at the idea of someone questioning science. He talks about there's no such thing as subjective experience. And of course there is. We through observation, experimentation, and repeated experimentation can come up with, okay, this cascade of things will happen every time, so far as we know. So we will act based on the assumption these rules will hold true. But how we perceive the world is absolutely subjective. We can build things and we can devise things based on a objective set of rules, but our experience is still subjective. And I think Dawkins lets himself down really badly with his rigidity of thinking. That's today's big thought, kids. And hello, Celtic King, by the way. Chris, you hated where you grew up. You have nostalgia, but not about that. Couldn't live there. Oh, Jesus Christ. I did the fucking little town where I grew up. You may as well attach fucking electrodes to my nipples and send me back there. I do not want to go back there. That's just all kinds of not good. So, man, I could have fucking brought across my most recently edited video, my pseudo animated order bar, because I finished editing one today. It'll go up on YouTube next week. I haven't uploaded it yet. And I'm like 80% of the way through editing another one. The one I'm 80% the way through is all me. The one I finished actually has someone else in it, which is fun. What's fun is because I, with these other YouTube channels, I said, hey, who wants to be a customer in my bar? And a bunch of people said me. And so I've started writing scripts for them and said, here's a script. I want you to do your side and I'll do my side. And when they eventually record something, which will probably be a bit different to what I scripted, I'll record my side. But this other guy, he just randomly said, hey, here's a video of me doing so I want to be on your thing. And I watched it and I thought, this is really funny. And I said, yeah, I'm going to use this. And he said, okay, cool. And so I just went, he just recorded this whole bunch of him saying shit when I hadn't given him a script. And I thought, okay, I need to record the other half of this. I have to record responses to what he said in this video. And in this video, I don't even make a cocktail. He just comes into my bar and says crazy shit. And I came up with stuff responding to it. And I think it's only like 2.5 minutes long. I think it's pretty funny. Mrs. Angry watched it. She liked it too. So that's going to go live next week. Another one which is long, is like 6 or 7 minutes long, is both the bartender and the customer are both me, and it's making the cocktail I had at the start of the stream, a scofflaw. So I'll probably finish editing that tomorrow. That'll go live. I have another video ready, and I don't know if I'll put it up next week or not. It's the one where I made cocktails aged in coconuts. I actually finished that like a week or so ago, but I haven't uploaded it yet. But it's like it's like an extra video. It's in my back pocket in case I need an extra video for my YouTube channel. So keep them busy, basically. So, Heine, you're saying you go from subjective to objective through repeated experiments, but only if your laws of science are correct. Well, it's like the old saying of if all knowledge of both religion and science were eradicated and humans reverted to where they were 2,000 years ago, in 1,000 or 2,000 years, a whole new system would have developed. The religion would be completely different and unrecognizable from the religions that exist today. The science would be the same, because science is about experimenting and observing results. So, and I do agree with that one. Some shithead atheists like Ricky Gervais and Richard Dawkins have said that. But I actually agree with that. I think that's basically true. Abigail, you want to order H2O2 in your bar? Oh my God. I remember, is that acid? I think I remember like the scientist joke about that. Tommy, you think the Harvey Wallbanger is funny? This is one of the videos I am making with one of the other YouTube bartenders, is talking about vodka is just like a fucking bullshit cocktail ingredient. And the Harvey Wallbanger is a particularly shitty drink. Because it starts with vodka and makes it worse by adding orange juice. Orange juice is a pretty shitty cocktail ingredient. So I've come up with something inspired by a Harvey Wallbanger, but it's better. Okay, H2O2 is hydrogen peroxide. Okay. Oh yeah, that's it. Two chemists walk into a bar. That's the joke. The first one says, I'll have H2O, which means water. So he gets water. And the other one says, yeah, I'll have H2O too. And he gets hydrogen peroxide and dies. Science jokes. You come on the angry stream for politics and stupidity and me ranting, and you get science jokes. Right. I think I need to excuse myself and go movies. Look, maybe I should play an old angry video. Last time I did this, it went a bit weird. It started playing the wrong things. They got me a copyright strike. But if I play a playlist, should be okay if I just go for a piss. I think I started with Shut the Fuck Up and it somehow went wrong. Okay, you know what I'm gonna play my Swedish punch video because I need to take a piss. Stop it. Not necessarily going to play all of this, but I'm going to play this while I go to take a whiz. Chrome tab. This is my most recent cocktail video. I'm making Swedish punch. So, full screen. I'll play.
G'day, cocktail lovers. The shirt
Oh
should
wait,
be a
you
giveaway.
know what? I
It's
forgot
time
the
for another
fucking sound.
concoction.
I'm pretty sure I forgot to click play sound. Pretty sure I forgot to click play sound with that. So I'll try it. What the fuck was that? All right, I'll try once more. Swedish punch. Okay. So I'm going to share. Okay. So the audio was working. Okay. I'm a fucking clown. But I'm trying again. Swedish punch. But it's Swedish punch.
G'day, cocktail lovers. The shirt should be a giveaway. It's time for another concoction in the kitchen. Also something that is going to take multiple days, so you will see more than one shirt. I am making some Swedish punch, or actually, because it's spelled P-U-N-S-C-H and it's Swedish, I start channeling the Swedish chef because I watched the Muppets a lot when I was a kid. So I want to call it Swedish punch because I believe the Swedes are enormous fans of the Swedish chef. I believe they have no problems whatsoever with the Swedish chef. So while some people just refer to this as Swedish punch, I'm going to call it Swedish punch because that's just how we roll on Angry Cocktails. Very much I was inspired ever since I saw Uncle Pete from Uncle Pete's Cocktail Shop make Swedish punch. I wanted to make some. Also because I have Batavia Arak. What that is essentially a rum, and it comes from Indonesia. When Indonesia was a Dutch colony, the Dutch called it Batavia. And I believe the base of this rum is rice rather than sugar. So it's different to other rums, has its own character. And this, to me, weirdly, Batavia Arak is ridiculously difficult to get in Australia. And I say ridiculously difficult because Indonesia is just our most immediate neighbour to the north. It is just north of Australia, but it is ridiculously difficult to get Batavia Arak. But I got some. This one is called By the Dutch. I think the reason it may be difficult to get Batavia Arak in Australia is because it doesn't come directly from Indonesia. It's initially made in Indonesia and it's aged and bottled in Holland. I think that might be a whole source of the problem. But anyway, I got one. This is a key element in Swedish punch, which again, Uncle Pete made sound super good. So I decided I had to make some. And I ended up making so much because the measurements were in cups and I didn't really assess how much that was. And I made probably twice as much as I intended. But I'm going to give you a basic recipe. I'll say it in parts, and I'll put a link in the description to a recipe that says a whole thing, and it tells you in cups. But if you follow in cups, you are going to end up with, well, I think the professional term is metric shit ton of Swedish punch. In simple terms, Swedish punch is 2 parts rum, 1 part
Invisible
Batavia
Chicken,
Arak,
good night.
2 parts spiced tea, 2 parts
Do you want to keep
sugar.
watching this,
So
or I'm
how
back
I
now? Would
made
you
it,
prefer me to
I put
switch
in
this off?
2 cups of
So it
rum.
was just
I
me.
used a Bundaberg Black,
So I'm
12-year-old age rum. Use whatever
So,
rum you like. But basically, it's 2 parts rum. I used 2 cups, which ended up being way too much. And then 1 part Batavia Arak.
Okay,
again, I
keep
used
watching.
1 cup.
Cool.
Was way too much. When you make the tea syrup, you have a lot of room to play with. You can make what you want. You want to use like a black tea and make it 50-50 tea and sugar. Mrs. Angry happens to be a bit of a tea aficionado, so she has some very interesting teas. I mixed up some different teas, and they had all sorts of flavors. There was cinnamon and cardamom and chai and vanilla and turmeric. So I had a really richly flavored collection of teas in the tea I made. But in terms of the other parts, you want to get 2 parts tea. I made 2 cups of tea and then added 2 cups of sugar and dissolved the sugar into that to make a tea syrup. So you want that to cool down. So you make a tea syrup and put it aside to cool down. So with the rums and Batavia Arak, 2 parts rum, 1 part Batavia Arak, you want to slice up 2 lemons if the lemon has seeds, take the seeds out. You don't want the bitterness. I actually had a seedless lemon when I made it. And also, because no one can tell me what to do, and I just break all the rules, I felt like adding some lime as well. So it was 2 lemons and 1 lime in my mix, sliced up, covered with the rum. 2 parts rum, 1 part Batavia Rack, and I left that for 6 hours. After 6 hours, I combined the rum mix with the sugar tea, super spicy, crazy syrup mix.
Hey, Mark, are you
bottle
just being
that,
confused?
And you want to let that sit for at least 24
I put this on
hours
while I was going
for
to the
flavors
toilet.
really permeate.
I had
And then
to
you
take a
taste it.
whiz.
So in other words, I've done all that, and I
planning
need
on
to let
making
it
myself
rest,
another
and then I'm
drink.
going to come back, and
Well,
I'll
it's
be
almost
wearing
10
a different
o'clock.
shirt when I
I'll
taste
stay
it.
up a bit late,
It's tasting
basically.
time. This is actually close to 2 days later. The recipes I saw for Swedish punch said after you make it and mix it, let it rest for 24 hours, and let all the flavors permeate. It's actually closer to 2 days, but here it is. I've made a big old bottle, so I better like it because I've made a lot of it. So I keep the old Starwood whiskey bottles because it has that nice starburst paintings on it, so it looks cool. And time to have a little taste of our Swedish punch, or punch, as I've decided it should be called. Ooh, you're getting that gurgling ASMR. It's quite syrupy. It's quite thick, which is not surprising given the amount of sugar that's in it. So instantly, it's very aromatic. Just all the spices from the teas come through, and it is unsurprisingly very sweet. And the rums are coming through. Very late. It's a teeny bit bitter, which would be the tannins from the tea, I assume. But it is very nice. No wonder people like this. I feel like this might go really well with soda or lemonade, club soda, as Americans call it. Because I think that would then make it a really bright, sparkly drink. It's quite nice as a liqueur. It is quite thick and rich, and I can see why people have been into Swedish punch for so long. But I think I should make a cocktail. Here we are at the formal cocktail making part of the video, and I have the Swedish punch ready. Now, I looked around, a lot of Swedish punch recipes involve rum and or lime, and I've tasted a few of them, and they're great. But I found one that's
Sorry,
really
here we go.
different, and I wanted
This
to
is
try
actually
that.
quite the
It's called a
taste.
highfalutin. And
Oh, it's up to me
besides
making a cocktail
the
now. Sorry, I
Swedish
was
punch,
looking
it has
for a
bourbon
cocktail recipe,
rather than
actually.
rum, so we're going to try that out. But seeing I've got the Swedish punch ready, the first thing we're going to do is add 30 mils of Swedish punch. The recipe I found recommended using a bourbon here. That's just because they don't have access to high quality Australian whiskey, so they recommend them. That's my story anyway, but yes, bourbon style whiskey, whatever takes your fancy that you can get a hold of wherever you are in the world. I'm probably going to use the last of my Starwood Fortis here. This is a local whiskey, 100 proof. You don't have to go for 100 proof. 80 proof would be fine, but your choice, 45 mils of whiskey. The final ingredient was quite an obscure one, and I don't have it, but I think very few people would. It's called beer, B-Y-R-H-H. I will put the actual recommended product in the description, but I looked it up, seeing as I don't have it and can't get it, and it's an aromatized wine, so it's in the mood ballpark, but it has quinine in it, so I thought, I know what I've got. I have Koki Rosa, which has aromatized wine in it. So
Okay, I
split
found
the
what
measure
drink I want to
50-50
make.
between the Koki Rosa and Maidenized Classic Vermouth. The recommended measure was 30 mils of aromatized wine.
Oh,
So I'm
teas.
50
Okay,
mils
sorry, Dr.
of
Abigail. I get
Koki
what you're saying
Rosa
about the teas
and
now.
the vermouth.
Given this
Marco,
is an
you
all
found
booze
if you get up
cocktail,
at
you're
5
going to
a.m.,
want
go
to
bed
stir it
12
for
a.m.,
30 seconds or
bedtime.
maybe more, depending how much dilution
that
you
doesn't
like.
sound good, Michael.
But after stirring, we strain that into a
Your
chilled
drink's
cube,
almost finished.
drop in a twist of lemon. There we have our highfalutin. I like that. As I said, I have tasted this with some rum drinks as well. And it's always a toss-up for me. Do I like rum more than bourbon, quite honestly? Or
You know
rum
what?
more
That's
than
it.
whiskey,
The
I should
drink's done.
say, in this
Drink's
case.
done. I might
think-
stop it. There we go. Marco, you're young, so you can get away with it, but that sleep pattern you seem to be building up there is definitely going to work against you. All right, I'm going to make a drink called The Very Last Word. Tequila, chartreuse, maraschino, lime juice, Jennifer. Gin. This is freaking wild. Okay, I need this in mils. What is this in mils? Okay, this is just wild silliness. Tommy, you saw good old Leonard Nimoy. Where did you see Leonard Nimoy? Michael, every day you get a little bit more tired. You'll start getting a bit earlier. It's probably why I fell asleep at 6 p.m. Yeah. Sleep is a thing. One of my favorite weird things about humans is we still do not understand specifically why we need to sleep. Like people go, oh, it seems to do, yeah, but we don't know why we need to sleep. I find that really weird. Oh, Tommy, yeah, there was the Dr. Spock. Not Dr. Spock, he was Mr. Spock. Dr. Spock was a child psychologist. Mr. Spock is Leonard Nimoy's character in Star Trek. All right. So this cocktail has a really stupid amount of ingredients. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 ingredients. That is a stupid amount of ingredients, and I kind of love that it's got a stupid amount of ingredients. Oh, it's saying I should put a maraschino cherry in here. Well, I'm on board with that. Love a maraschino cherry. Marco, there's no such thing as infinite energy. Yes. That is true. All right, so I need to start getting... So I want to use this bit of... green chartreuse. I've got a little bit left in the bottle I need to use up. Green chartreuse. It's a tiny bit. Might just be 20 mils. Maraschino lime juice. Okay. Maraschino is here. First new bottle of maraschino liqueur I bought in like 2 years. So I finally finished a bottle after about 2 years. I have a bottle of Jennifer. Which one is Jennifer? Oh my god, it's fucking late and I can't think. Stockholm Syndrome. No, that's the Aquavit. I need their version of Jennifer. Okay. That is fucking weird. Okay, get your fucking shit together. Ugh, what's this one? No, that's their fucking strong gin. Okay, there it is. I can see Jennifer now. Ugh. Yeah, okay, that's Jennifer. Okay. What else do I need to get? Lime juice, tequila, gin. Dry gin. Where is my dry gin? You know what? Fuck it. I'm doing this fucking barrel-aged gin. 'Cause I'm a madman. What else do I have to get? Mezcal and tequila. Okay, where is my mezcal? I have mezcal. The name translates as Death Squad, which I think is pretty cool. Or possibly in bad taste, whichever way you want to look at it. Oof, where's the bottle though? Muerte de Peloton de Muerte. Oh, is this going to be too much for me? Am I just going to have to go? No, there it is. I found it. Peloton de la Muerte, aka Death Squad. Death Squad Mezcal. So, tequila, mezcal, sugar syrup. Bitters. Wait, is this? No, it's shaken. Okay. Tequila, sugar syrup, bitters. I think margarita bitters. I'll go my fucking other bitters. What the fuck? See, micro. Speaking of stoners, article about study University of Oregon shows compounds in cannabis block corona. Yeah, yes. I'm going to go out, and I did this on social media today. Stop believing attention-grabbing headlines. Cannabis does not prevent COVID. That is just an absolute, simple, unequivocal fact. Cannabis doesn't prevent COVID. It's just like a single study that showed some indications. That means nothing unless more people can repeat the fucking thing. I fucking hate that. Megaleech, from a perspective of energy conservation, function of sleep is preventing brain. Now, see, but the thing is, sleep, what we understand as sleep is only in the abstract. We can't go, sleep does this exact thing and it does it this exact way. We just know we need to sleep. And we can see, oh, these things seem to change when you sleep. But we can't sort of point and go, this is what sleep is and why we do it. But anyway. Yeah, Tommy, you saw it on TikTok. It has to be true. Absolutely. But it's just like, no, there was a study that showed possibly some interesting thing of some cannabinoids. But then you get all these fucks. Yeah, smoking weed makes you immune to COVID. Shut the fuck up. No, it fucking doesn't. It just fucking doesn't. Ugh. I hate that shit. Right. I don't know. It's already 10. Fuck it. I don't know. I'm going back to work next week. I'm just going to get fucked up now. Go to bed late. And fucking veg out tomorrow. Okay, so I'm going to do a very last word. Right. Okay. So, where is my shaker? I put it over here. This'll do. Oh shit, I'm doing stuff off camera you don't want to know about. Okay. Cursed person. Got my cocktail shaker, I'm being most imprecise. Okay, so first up, I'm just trying to empty this. There's a tiny bit of green chartreuse. I got a whole new bottle. Don't panic, people. Probably had this for 2 years though. So I don't use this much, so it takes ages. Right, how much is in here? I'm supposed to do 20 mils. Ooh, that's pretty good. That was almost exactly 20 mils. Fuck yeah, that was good. Okay. That was wrong. Jesus, put it in the wrong receptacle. I do that. All right, green chartreuse. Made by mysterious monks. Put this in recycling. There's not a few bottles in recycling. I'm trying not to be self-conscious. Okay. Same amount of maraschino liqueur. Ooh, is this new? Oh my God, I thought I'd use this. This is the first time I'm using this. Get that crack of the seal. Nice. 20 mils. It's a liqueur made from the... So I just put it in the wrong fucking receptacle again. I need to not have receptacles sitting about. It's a liqueur made from the seeds of the cherries. So it's a little bit nutty. Okay, I need some lime juice, which is in the fridge, which is in this little plastic bottle, because I squozed it earlier. Right, lime juice. Lime fresh lime. Just remembering commercials from my childhood. Okay, lime juice. Now, a Geneva. He's a cheeky Australian, Jennifer. Okay, so is just less than... Yep, that's about right. I'm just fucking making this shit up. Purists would be very angry at me now. But I don't... Okay, some gin. So he uses dry gin, and I'm using a barrel-aged gin, which is so fucking different. Because I'm an anarchist. Don't know what I want, but I know how to get it. Now, a little bit of tequila, because that's how the Mexicans actually pronounce it. Everyone else is wrong. Okay. Quarter of an ounce, about that much. Should just fucking neck that, quite honestly. Mezcal. Mezcal. Peloton de la Muerte. Oh my god. It's like that rich, smoky flavor. It's like good mezcal is like honey and barbecue smoke. Sugar syrup. It says lavender sugar syrup. I don't mean lavender sugar syrup. What sort of freak has lavender sugar syrup? Of all my sugar syrups, and I have a lot. You know what? Fuck it. Maybe I'll do mango. This is mango sugar syrup. Because I'm a wild man and nobody can stop me. So 2.5 mil, so that's like a tiny fucking amount. And that's way more than 2.5 mils. It's a bit more like it. There we go. And a couple of drops of bitters. Of all my bitters, what will I use? Where is, I think I'm going to use my... yeah, that's the one. Which one's this? That is my Negroni bitters, which is not... this is what I want, my tiki bitters. I was just fucking going with Negroni bitters. Help, I've fallen and I can't get up. That's what the bitters bottle was saying. I'm fine. I haven't fallen and I can get up. So, a couple of drops of bitters. On the cut. Okay. Okay, so green chartreuse, maraschino liqueur, lime juice, Geneva, gin, tequila, mezcal, sugar syrup, bitters. Okay, done. Dunzo. Oh god, now I've got the hiccups. Oh my god. Micro TikToks from pedos. I don't know. There's some funny stuff on TikTok. Okay. So we're all ragging on friggin' TikTok. I don't know. I think there's some funny stuff on TikTok. I think there's weird fucked up shit on TikTok too. But that's just the human experience. All right. Putting some ice in my shaker. And I gotta go find my strainer. Bang it in hard. That's my catchphrase, kids. You need a catchphrase. Shake that. Got a skewer. Got a strainer. Got the maraschino cherries. Because I love an excuse to have a maraschino cherry. All right, fucking get your shit together, son. Oh, can I get this apart? There we go. That's what I needed to do. Bang it like a man. Everything is sexual. Oh, micro. TikTok is absolutely not trustworthy as a company. Straining the very last word. See if I like this. I might make it for my cocktail channel. Put that there. Doo-doo. Now we skewer a cherry. Micro, if I start TikTok, you'll unsubscribe. I'm too old for TikTok, man. I have not TikToked. I don't know. I might do it for my cocktail channel because I do some short videos for YouTube. I could just repurpose them. I think I need to get a new jar of these. This might run out soon. I don't know how many cherries are in here. They're hidden. Got one. Yeah, boy. Screw it properly. Put it in the drink. If you know where fashion sits, putting on the Ritz. Abigail, TikTok's under the control of the Chinese government. In China, they have completely different content, censored and full of propaganda. Also, in China, it's location tracing. It's very nefarious in China. Megalich, Christ, drinking that pure sugar of the syrup to see the cherries would be a bit of a thing. Anyway, so this is the very last word. Oh man, that is good. That is just really light for all the weird shit that's in it. That is really light. It's oh my God, that is lovely. That's like an 8 out of 10. That is an 8 out of 10. Would definitely make it again. For those unfamiliar with the angry scoring for cocktails, it's out of 10. 6 out of 10 is barely acceptable. It's like, that's okay, but probably a bit disappointing. Definitely not doing it again. If I buy a cocktail somewhere and give it 6 out of 10, or if I make one and give it 6 out of 10, it's like, well, not doing that again. Less than 6 out of 10 is a failure. That's an abomination. 7 out of 10 is like, okay, it's good, but it's not my thing. And there are so many good cocktails in the world. I probably won't be in any rush to make or buy a 7 out of 10 again. 8 out of 10, and this is an 8 out of 10. Well, that is good. That is good. That is light. That is refreshing. It's like the one I started the stream with, the scofflaw. That was like a 7 out of 10. It wasn't bad, but I'm going to rush to make one again. This is an 8 out of 10. This is good. This is worth doing again. I probably will do this for my YouTube channel because it's pretty good. Variation on the last word. If I rate something 9 out of 10, that's I want another one right now. 8 out of 10 is I'm definitely getting this one again. 9 out of 10 is I want this one again now. And occasionally I rate something like 9.5 out of 10 because it's just like nectar of the gods. And it's blown my mind how good it is. Never rate anything 10 out of 10 because you can always improve. You can always improve. Nothing's perfect. So, oh my God, this is good though. This is fucking great. Oh, just kind of thinking that might do well with like an absinthe rinse in the glass as well. Because it's almost got a little licorice note that you get out of absinthe. I think if I did an absinthe rinse in the glass, so there was just the tiniest hint of absinthe, that would probably work really well. As it is, it is good. It is very good. I need to add that. So I remember. I need to fucking I'm getting better at taking notes. Like, oh no, that was good. I need to remember that. That was good. And I'm getting better at that. Because I used to like find things online and try them. And even not necessarily try them, but just see a recipe and go, that sounds good. I need to come back to it and then not keep a record of it. which is ridiculous because it's so easy to make a note of things you do on the internet, either by saving stuff on a web page or saving bookmarks or fucking writing it. I've got a book where I write stuff as well. But yeah, I think I will make the very last word for my YouTube channel because it's pretty good. Micro, you off to work. Have a good, enjoyable, and safe day. So I noticed we were all talking about things about Yahoo Messenger and telling high school crushes you like for instant messenger. Was I in the 90s? I was on IRC. That is actually where I met the mother of my children in the 90s, an IRC in the mid 90s. And I've mentioned this before on other streams. Young Ms. Angry, who was born in 97, could well qualify as the world's first internet baby. If you define that as the baby born from a relationship between people who were in completely different locations, who came into contact through the internet, who would not have come into contact without the internet. Because at the time I was living in Sydney, and the mother of my offspring was in Melbourne, and we ended up getting together. And we had a bit of discussion back in the day. Young Miss Angry could possibly qualify by that definition as the world's first internet baby, which I think is interesting. But who knows? Oh yeah, Abigail, I did do ICQ for a while. So I did IRC, Internet Roulette Chat, ICQ, which was a fun 3-letter thing. I don't know if it was actually an acronym, but it's, the letters I, C, Q. When you say it, it sounds like I seek you. Instant messaging. And then for a few years before Microsoft killed it, I was on MSN Chat. That was a whole sort of hookup thing, MSN Chat. When was that? That was that was early 2000s. I reckon the peak of MSN Chat was early 2000s. And then Microsoft found out that all that was happening on MSN Chat was freaky sex stuff, and they got worried about the damage to their reputation. So they just fucking killed it, which was sad. Tommy, you missed the old terrifying sounds of dial-up. I had a friend who could whistle down a phone line and get the right tones to make a modem connect on the other end, which is fucking weird. Yeah, the analog internet, basically, or at least the analog infrastructure. Oh my God, yes, Abigail, the deplorable depths of Yahoo groups. Yahoo groups was the whole spectrum from good, useful, and positive to just depraved, awful, sick, and fucked up. Yahoo groups was amazing. So was Yahoo Answers, for that matter. Yahoo Answers ran the whole spectrum from good and useful and insightful to sick and fucked up and wrong, which kind of sums up the internet, quite honestly. So this is our world. This is our world. That's good. That is good. I like that. See, maybe I won't make, and now I've drunk all my bottled cocktails, maybe I won't make any more bottled cocktails, because then I have to make up individual cocktails. So I'm going to have more diversity in what I drink. I've still got, it's going to be very hard to give up the freezer martini. I really enjoy the freezer martini. So the freezer martini may continue to be an infinity bottle. We'll see. So Tommy, you remember Yahoo Answers reading one thing, talking about how to clean your microwave, actually make it. Oh Christ, that was 4chan. That was fucking. And I remember that hilariously. It was basically put some common kitchen ingredients in your microwave and mix them and turn the microwave on, and it would make a chemical bomb. And the way it went in 4chan, someone said, "Hey, clean your microwave by going buh, 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 buh." And then a bunch of people who were in on the joke would go, "Yeah, I did this and this." So someone's got, "Here's how to clean your microwave." And then there would be a whole succession of comments going, "Yeah, this worked brilliantly." And then like the 10th comment was like, "Fuck you guys. I fucking fell for it. Fuck you all." And someone has basically made a chemical bomb in their kitchen. It's wild. Abigail, did I say something about giving up drinks? That was accidental if I said that. I want to give up drinks. Only, like I said, only potentially stop making batched cocktails so I get more diversity in the cocktails I have during live streams. So, Tommy 5 tone, real cool. Put a can of cleaner in the microwave, turn it on. Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of stuff you could put in a microwave that would turn it into an actual bomb, because a microwave can turn various things into plasma and melt metal and do all sorts of shit. So there are various things you could put into a microwave that would make a super lethal bomb, essentially. Like, but yeah, some stuff's not even explosive, just turns into a fucking poison gas, like chlorine gas or something. But yeah, I have to admit, I did find it funny to see a 4chan post with someone saying, "Clean your microwave by doing," and then a whole bunch of comments going, "This is awesome. This works so well. My microwave is so clean." Yeah, and the 10th comment was, "Fuck all of you. I fucking fell for this and I almost died." And everyone's like, "Ha, sucker. We tricked you into making a chlorine bomb in your kitchen, which could have killed you. Isn't that funny? That's funny." And it's like, oh my God, people, Jesus. So, I don't know. I feel like I've seen fucking everything. I still remember, and this is from the mid-90s, a Usenet post with the title "Concerned Ponder." And this is how some stuff just fucking ingrains itself into your brain. And because Usenet was text-based discussion groups pre-World Wide Web, basically, although it survived for a while after the World Wide Web. But anyway, it's text-based discussion groups, and there were all these things, and they were divided into different categories, and they were supposed to be serious. And there was this one group that was for people who wanted to build their own ponds, and they were ponders. They made their own ponds, and the 99% of the people in the group were just people making ponds. Then a troll found it and went, "You're far too wholesome," and they started posting shock porn in there. And I will always remember this post titled "Concerned Ponder," where this person said, "I'm concerned that some awful people are posting terrible stuff in this group." And what happened is, of course, someone in response to this person saying they were concerned about the shock porn, is they replied by posting the grossest shock porn they had, which a friend and I referred to as ESAD, ESAD, an acronym that stands for Eat, Shit, and Die, because it is someone taking a shit in someone else's mouth. And it didn't appear to be a fake shit. It looked very real. But the person taking the shit certainly had a lot of fiber in their diet, because it was huge and very solid. And we were like, That's kind of a work of art, isn't it? That's fucking amazing. That's the fucking early internet for you. Oh yes, Abigail, charging your iPhone by putting it in the microwave. That was another fun 4chan prank. Yes. Heine remembers alt.rec.sports.motor.formula1 was a cesspool. It was fucking weird how groups that were ostensibly very innocent got really fucked up. And it's kind of fun when the opposite happened too. There was a website from the early web called Something Awful. And the URL is literally somethingawful.com. Probably still exists. I'm gonna take a. Oh god, videos are still playing on the thing. I'm going to take a huge risk and put it into my browser. Somethingawful.com. That's still there. July 4th, 2020. Something Awful's in the process of changing hands. Meanwhile, we're pausing updates, halting production. Oh my God, Something Awful's been frozen since early 2020. Oh, the fridge is singing the song of its people. So Something Awful was actually a discussion forum, but as you might be able to guess by the name Something Awful, they have awful things in it. But what happened is not awful people kind of hijacked the comment threads. And this was pre-social media. Social media, absolutely brilliant shit was happening. A whole community was happening in comment threads on Something Awful. And the people running Something Awful didn't realize what was happening in the comment threads. And it was like this, the forums were like this secret social media. It was wild. And as Abigail says, it was great until it wasn't. Tommy, your cousin just woke up. Could I say hi to him? Yes. I don't know what your cousin's name is. Hello to Tommy's cousin. Hello. I hope you're well. Abigail saying Something Awful forum goons are still a force in the world, not as bad as 4chan. Not as great as regular. Yeah, but there was this weird phase, and it was probably the early 2000s. Some actual truly great shit was happening in the comments in Something Awful forums, and the people running Something Awful didn't realize it. But nothing lasts forever. Oh my God, that drink was really fucking good. Definitely going to make it for my cocktail channel. Love the maraschino cherries. Okay, it's already 10:30. I might go till 11, which means I will have sobered up a teeny bit. Or, alternatively, because I just finished a pretty strong cocktail and the alcohol may continue to work its way through my system, I might actually be more drunk at 11. Who knows? It's a mystery. I should probably drink some water. Don't want to drink too much. Oh, I'm resigned myself to the fact I'm going to get up in the middle of the night for a piss. That's just a thing that's going to happen. So ice has been melting. That's an interesting flavor. What's in the other half of the cocktail shaker? It's not bad. That is not bad. Anyway, that's a pretty good discovery. I like that one. Oh shit! Yeah, no, Heine, the fucking suicide forest view. Is Live Leak gone? Okay. Yeah, Live Leak is when people put weird, fucked up shit that would get censored anywhere else. But of course, the world is governed by money, And if money doesn't want to be associated with what you're doing, it's very hard to keep it happening. Yeah, no, LiveLeak was around for fucking ages, where weird, fucked up video shit would be on there. Yeah, not just suicide forest videos, but fucking like ISIS beheadings and shit like that. Just unconscionable shit, basically. Very, very fucked. Very fucked. Right, I'm going to have a little bit of water. A lot. That's probably enough. I want to hydrate enough that I hopefully don't get a headache. I don't think I've drunk enough to feel shitty tomorrow. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like I'm still being vaguely coherent at the moment. I'm probably doing that thing where I speak a bit more slowly and more concisely than I normally do. That's a thing I do when I'm drunk. I think a lot of drunks do that, try to conceal the fact you're drunk. So when I'm a bit drunk, I try to speak more precisely and concisely than I normally do. So it's a giveaway. Because I'm an Australian, so I normally talk really fast and slow. When I'm a bit drunk, I try very hard not to slur words. So I'll slow down a little and I'll speak a bit more concisely and precisely, which, yes, counterintuitively is a sign I'm drunk. But again, that's the thing drunks do. Drunks try to conceal the fact that they're drunk. Oh, water. No, that Jesus, that was a good fucking deal. It's super fucking weird when water, which is theoretically neutral, can kick off a bunch of pleasure centers in your brain. Like, it's like, oh yeah, honestly, I've had enough of that alcohol shit and all those fucking over the top flavors you were consuming. Just cold water is freaking great. Water rating out of 10. It's like, that's a not. Oh my god, that's fucking brilliant. That is, the water is definitely 9 out of 10. And again, I think water on average is 6 or 7 out of 10. It's just like, if you're not dehydrated, water's like, oh yeah, that's good. That's fine. It's fine. 6 or 7 out of 10, that's fine. But every now and then you drink water and it fucking rockets to 8 or 9 out of 10. It's like, oh my God, that is absolutely fantastic. That stuff that is supposedly neutral just tastes absolutely fantastic. And that's why I try to drink water cocktail. I think water particularly good. It serves it serves more than two purposes, I think. But it cleanses your palate so that you're ready to drink afterwards. But it also just tastes good in a right breaking. Oh damn! Look at that. That's fine. But you like shit. Okay. Okay, pure 100% HO shown taste. What are we doing is, oh yes, we have a bunch of minerals and stuff in our water. Yes. Okay, so whatever, my internet fucked up. Maybe I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to get that indicator to go to bed. My internet fucked up. I plugged in a little, going off Wi-Fi, and it's been fine for 2.5 hours, and now it's fucked up. Go to bed. I'm going to go to bed. We'll be back for party night tomorrow night. And if I get someone to me, I always put the burden on other people. Someone remind me to plug a cable into my laptop tomorrow night, because I don't want this shit to happen again. So everyone, take care. Cheers with water. So you fine folk, take care. I look forward to seeing you in another time. But now I am going to go to bed. So now.